So what are we talking about today, guys?
Okay, so we just did Tiffany's origin story.
Yeah, that was
and
crazy.
we had a cliffhanger.
What was the cliffhanger?
Does anyone remember what the cliffhanger was?
I remember what the cliffhanger was.
Okay, Parker, what was the cliffhanger?
Well, you were like, and then we were gonna journey into keto and your whole journey into that.
Yeah.
Even though we do frequently talk about keto in the previous video, to be fair.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
It's
So
not fair, though. So
we're going to basically make this episode about me beginning keto and how I got into keto and why. And I kind of want to start off with the fact of how anti-keto I was.
Yeah.
When I started. I was the most anti-keto person I knew.
Yeah. Not even anti-keto. You're also anti-no sugar. Meaning,
oh my gosh. Because I fell for this whole joke of, I don't even know.
Yeah.
Like, it's not the sugar, it's the quantity, it's the portion. Moderation is the secret.
Yeah.
And even though I knew that, and a lot of the times I knew that that wasn't right, and I would say that, I was following so many people on Instagram that just were like, eat the donut, have this, celebrate, live your best life.
Just do it in moderation.
Just do it in moderation and everything will be fine. And I come from a background of binge eating, as we talked about, I think in the last episode.
Yeah.
Just like you wouldn't tell an alcoholic or a cigarette smoker, you don't just smoke on the weekends. You don't just have one cigarette a day. It isn't actually any different for sugar.
Yeah.
So I kind of fell into that whole sort of social media moderation is key thing. Even though I knew better, it just kept getting into my head. And so
there's a lot of people that struggle with binge eating. I mean, there's whole programs made for just this one specific vice, basically.
Because
and
they're trying to get people to realize that basically, like, smokers should just be smoking one cigarette a day. They're trying so hard to imprint this in people's minds, and it is taking a massive amount of time and effort. And then you only have a few people who are able to do this successfully because, how many people have the willpower to have one cigarette a day? And if they come from an alcoholic background, how many people have the ability to go from being an alcoholic to just one drink, you know, on Friday? I mean, it is the same thing. Sugar is one of the most addictive substances on planet Earth.
It is.
Why is it different?
And it starts at an early age. There's
make it make sense.
Yeah. There's a whole TED talk about the amount of sugar that kids have by the time that they're in elementary school. And it is startling. This girl ended up saying, this is how much sugar is in the milk. This is how much sugar is in the food. And she came out with wheelbarrows and said, by the age of 7, they have this much sugar. And she brought out like 10 wheelbarrows of sugar. And people are getting addicted to this really early on. And it's in all the baby formulas. Yeah. Corn syrup solids, a bunch of other crazy chemicals. It's really insane. We didn't really talk about binge eating that much, actually, with the last episode.
No, we didn't?
I don't think we went.
No, I don't think we covered binge eating at all.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So let's talk about that.
No, I mean, kind of like getting into the donut thing.
But that's it. It was just the donut offhand.
Okay, fine.
So you had actually a lot of instances where you would try to diet, you would succeed, and then you would cave in over a period of time. And these diets you were doing were not sustainable. So kind of give like the process, because first of all, what is binge eating? Second of all, how has that impacted you?
Okay, so basically with binge eating, a lot of the times let's say you are either dieting or not. You can have binge eating even when you're not dieting. And so let's say you pull out a bag of, a party-sized bag of Doritos. Do I get paid for mentioning Doritos? No, I'm just kidding.
Doritos, don't ever eat them.
Don't ever eat them.
They'll kill you.
So let's say you start eating a bag of like a party-sized bag of Doritos, and the next thing you know, you're at the bottom of the bag.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that would be considered a binge. The amount of calories that there are in one bag of Doritos, I mean, that is mindless eating. There is nothing about that you are doing for a nutrition, like a nutritional basis or actual like food as fuel. You're just doing mindless eating because of the MSG and the chemicals. I mean, these foods are made to be addicting, to just not be able to stop. I mean, I think even on one of the most popular chip bags, it says, I bet you can't eat just one.
Lay's. Nobody can eat just one.
Nobody can eat just one. Why? I mean, with Lay's specifically, I get it.
No, just imagine if that was any other food. Steak! Nobody could have just one.
Yeah, right. You puke.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that's like, and now I've learned more recently that carbohydrates do not contain the peptide YY hormone, which is the one that sends the satiety and stop eating signal to your brain.
Wait, what doesn't?
Carbs don't.
Okay.
So that hormone comes from fat and protein, and that is why you can eat so much popcorn, pasta, bread. It isn't the same way for like steak or chicken. I mean, you can't just eat 12 pounds of chicken. Like you just cannot. You can't. Same with avocados. At some point, your mind just says, "Stop. That's enough." Right?
Yeah.
It doesn't ever kind of get that point with. You'll feel sick in your stomach before your brain will tell you you're full when it comes to junk food. And all of the people who preach moderation is key are always the people who don't ever talk about the importance of vitamins and nutrition and everything else that's vitally important to the human body. It's basically like a set group of people who agree that a gallon of water a day needs to be, it's like they all agree that the same thing. Calories are the only thing that matters. Binge eating can only be beat by continuing to have the foods that you're trying to avoid in moderation. The eat less, move more movement, none of it has anything to do with hormones or insulin or blood sugar or your health or your cardiovascular. None of it has anything to do with that. It's just this whole other thing. And so it's really sad because it's really becoming a huge problem in society and we don't have the right why to handle it. So
Parker, can you give it like a good definition of binge?
I actually have it from the Mayo Clinic here.
Okay.
Can't wait for this.
Behavioral and emotional signs and symptoms of binge eating disorder include eating unusually large amounts of food in a specific amount of time, such as over a 2-hour period. One of the main signs of binge eating is eating even when you're not full or hungry.
Eating even when you're not.
No, when you
are
are
full.
Yeah, that's one of the main.
Oh, sorry. When you're full or not hungry. Even when you're full. Eating even when you're full or not hungry. My bad.
Have you ever wanted to lose a lot of weight, but you did not want the keto flu? A lot of people, they get this thing called the Keto Float, and it hurts your face. It hurts your head. It's terrible. It's really bad. So, I mean, if you've just started this thing, then you don't want to go through that experience. What you got to do is you got to take electrolytes.
Hey.
Don't drink a gallon of water.
Tiffany, hold your cup up, man.
Cheers. Cheers to watermelon electrolytes. One of our best tasting electrolytes. It's one of the best tasting on the market. We spent a lot of time formulating this, make sure it tasted good, but also had a lot of potassium, salt, all the things that your body needs for really, really good hydration. Don't drink a gallon of water. You want to drink electrolytes. So click the link below. If you click the link below, you can find where we sell the electrolytes, and it tastes really good. So don't get the Keto Float either. And the next commercial, we'll talk about clean keto. And that's the end of that commercial. So back to the binge eating. What has been your, give a few examples of how you would binge eat. You gave examples of restaurants. You gave the example of the donut last week. So how did this look, especially when you were trying to diet?
So I remember one time I was doing the Hcg diet, which I can't even believe exists. I mean,
what is that?
It's the Hcg diet. It's basically where they try to mimic something while you're pregnant, some hormone while you're pregnant, and you're doing a 500 calorie a day diet, and eventually you'll stall. And when you stall, you have to do apple days where you eat nothing but 6 apples for the entire. I mean, it's the craziest thing in the world. Don't ask me how I found out about this.
This is the one where you inject something into your body fat?
Hcg, the pregnancy hormone or something.
Wow.
What is it? I got it right here.
Hcg diet. Hcg diet.
Human chorionic gonadotropin.
Love that.
Comment below that I'm wrong, because I'm sure I am.
Yeah.
So 500 calories a day. And basically you would lose, if you did it for 30 days, you'd lose 30 pounds in 30 days. And then the day you stopped, you would gain 65.
I don't understand though.
Love that.
I feel like they're you have to buy this expensive supplement and also eat 500 calories a day. And I'm the 500 calories a day is doing the heavy lifting, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, really, that is what it is. It's the fact that you're in such a deficit. So what you're doing is you're just killing your metabolism.
Yeah, but also you should buy this $6,000 supplement.
Yeah, the drops, which I'm pretty sure are a placebo. But yeah, so I did that. And then what would happen is at the end when I just especially because I'd always hit days where I wasn't losing weight anymore. anymore.
Yeah.
And then the next day, I would just eat like a sleeve of cookies. And then when I was done with the sleeve of cookies, I'd be like, why did you do that, Tiffany? That is so stupid. You just sabotaged all your work. Too late. It's already over. And then I would go get a sandwich and then chicken nuggets or macaroni and just never ending. It was like I was literally trying to refill my body of the last 30 days.
Yeah.
And that is basically what is talked about in the obesity code, how people do that. I mean, you restrict like that. And once you're stopping restriction, your body is like, like try to get everything in as fast as possible. And so, yeah, I've had many, 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 many occasions of that.
Yeah.
Buying the most recent one would be, I think in 2016, a couple of months before I started, I went and got those little shortbread cookies that usually you have for like Easter, you know, with the decorations.
Yeah.
And I got like a family size one of them and I ate every single one of them. And I think under 3 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, why did you do that? And I'm like, I want more.
Yeah.
Like crazy.
You had a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde moment right there.
Yeah. And I'd always be like so devastated after. Like, why did you just do that?
Yeah.
And feel so sick.
Yeah.
And then I would do it again. Like the craziest thing. I was like, complete loss of self-control. No matter how many minutes I spent trying to convince myself to not do it. Okay, just have one.
I think
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, 24.
Me and you talk about food addiction more than we talk about binge eating. And I think binge eating ends up becoming more or like it's downstream from food addiction. It's like you're addicted to food. You try to quit for a little bit. You do the addiction again, and it's like 10 times worse. And
Time is spent in a lab to get these foods to taste like a certain way.
Yeah.
And be mass produced.
Yeah. So quality is the last thing on planet Earth that they care about. And it seems like every time a brand figures out a way to start making a product that people can have that has no bad ingredients, it only lasts for a limited time and it's around and then you'll never find it again. And I don't believe that it's an issue that nobody's buying it. I truthfully don't, because you see, like when we find something, we're like, buy it all. And I know that it's not just me and you are the only two people on planet Earth like that.
So the thing that happens, and I think this has happened quite a few times. There's a brand we really like. There's a brand we trust. They get bought out by a bigger food manufacturer. They change all of the ingredients and keep the labeling the same. And
they did that with the Steez tea, by the way.
Yeah.
Steez stands for stevia tea.
Yeah.
So they got everybody buying it and hooked on it. And then like 3 years in, the second ingredient was cane sugar.
Yeah.
Dude, not cool.
They do this.
Called stevia tea.
Yeah. So the problem is that when you're doing something like clean keto or just keto, and you're looking at and paying attention to ingredients, you have to look at the ingredients every time because you never know if they're going to get bought out and then changed.
Same thing with RX bar. Remember we used to buy RX bars? And it was like, it would say 3 ingredients, egg whites, chocolate. Now
Cashews.
It's natural flavorings.
Yeah.
They always.
Yeah. And see, the natural flavorings are usually used, they usually have maltodextrin in them, which is worse for you than sugar. It's worse than sugar. So these natural flavors that everyone feels like mysterious about, you're like, what is this? It sounds good, but I feel weird about it. This comes up a lot. We did a lot of investigation about this, and it's maltodextrin, which is actually on the glycemic index. It's worse than sugar. It's like you should just have a teaspoon of table sugar, and you'd be doing yourself a favor than having these natural flavors.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I know. I feel that. So looking back into my weight loss journey, kind of like seeing all photos and videos of like my food and what I was eating, I actually did low carb the majority of my 93-pound weight loss. And so if you kind of look through my food posts ever since 2016, you'll see that I lost weight. I would like lose weight. I'd maintain for a while, lose weight, maintain, lose weight, maintain. And those big dips down of the times that I did lose weight, I accidentally did low carb. I didn't mean to. It was like the days that I ate, and I would hit stalls. Why would I hit stalls? Because I'd started eating a lot of carbs. And I started looking through my food photos, and I was like, You didn't ever do keto, but you definitely did do low carb quite a bit.
Yeah.
I did the Whole30 one time. My journey of that should be on my YouTube channel. But I did the Whole30, which is like super strict, one of the strictest diets, and I didn't lose an ounce. I mean, I got on that scale after 30 days of what I considered basically like unbelievable restriction, no slip up. And I had gotten on the scale at the end and not an ounce down. And I was like, and you weren't allowed to weigh yourself the entire time as part of the challenge.
How depressing was that?
I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, I guess I got my body healthy, but like looking back without being able to lose a single pound and no, that's just no.
Yeah.
But I had a lot of fruit juice, drank a lot of fruit juice, a lot of potatoes because that was not part of the restriction. So
no wonder.
Yeah, I have been through a lot that led me to keto. So basically, as much as I fought it in the beginning, I really fought it. I did not want to cut carbs. I was like, no, carbs are the thing that makes you full. That was the thing I always thought.
Yeah.
Carbs are what makes you full. If you have dinner, the carbs are what fills your belly, and then the other things are there for like your protein and whatever, right?
Yeah, you almost broke up with me just because I suggested it.
We were married.
Yeah.
Okay, I couldn't end up breaking up with you.
Yeah, that's right.
You almost got a divorce.
We almost divorced, okay? Get it right.
I always say that if you can find the papers, then you can divorce me.
No thanks.
And she doesn't know where they are, so I have them under lock.
So, okay, so then we get into starting keto. So after fighting it and realizing that this is what I needed to do to keep my blood sugar balanced. This is my little blood sugar meter. A lot of you guys know that. I track my blood sugar now 24/7, which has been the most insightful thing. And the thing is about keto, even though people hate the word keto, like that has such a negative connotation. Again, thank you, mainstream media.
Mm-hmm.
The word keto has such a negative connotation, but really what keto comes down to is keeping your blood sugar low and balanced and keeping ketones in your body. And so the fact that people hate that so much just tells you how bad of a job that we've done as a society in talking about health and glucose and how important glucose is to your health, to your brain, to your weight, to your hormones, everything. Like glucose is everything. And if there was anything you tracked, it should be your glucose. Like forget tracking your sleep, forget tracking your steps, forget tracking your water. Track your dang glucose. That is the number one most important thing you need to track.
Well, until recently, only people who were diagnosed with diabetes could get a blood glucose tracker.
That is true. So, and nobody really, again, talks about it. And so for me, I thought the word glucose was only like relevant to diabetics.
Yeah.
What? Like how is that even a thing? Like, and everyone I've talked to, I'm like, hey, do you know? Nope, never heard of it. What?
Yeah.
This is the thing that controls everything. Like whether we're tired, whether we're hungry, like everything is determined by this one particular thing. Feeling dizzy, irritable, like everything is based on your glucose.
Yeah. But then about 1/3 of the American population is diabetic.
Diabetic or pre-diabetic?
1 in 3 Americans have pre-diabetes. 1 in 10 Americans have diabetes.
Yeah, that's outrageous. I mean, that's you in a room with 10 people and one of them has diabetes. I mean, that is insane. You're in a room with 100 people. That's 10 people.
How many people in our immediate family have diabetes? Does anyone have?
At least all
of them.
There's
like 30 people in our
here's the issue with this thing I want to tell you.
Yeah.
The glucose comes back normal only until you're actually diabetic, meaning your body fights for you until the point that you're diabetic. So you're not even going to necessarily have elevated blood sugars, meaning I had normal blood sugars with reactive hypoglycemia. So they would have never caught it.
Yeah.
The only reason that she caught mine was because of my symptoms. I told her I was slurring my words. I was telling her that my brain wasn't functioning properly, all the things, right? And that the only thing that made me feel okay was eating sugar every hour and a half.
Yeah.
And when I said that to her, she's like, that's reactive hypoglycemia. Let's put a monitor on you to confirm it.
Yeah.
And she said, this is the only one you have. I can't give you another one because it's a sample and you can't get one unless you're diabetic. So just really record these 14 days. And
this was just a year ago.
Yeah.
That you cannot buy blood sugar monitors. That's crazy.
Yeah. So how many people in our family? The truth is we wouldn't know because none of them go to the doctor and advocate for themselves. I mean, how many are actually diabetic? who actually goes to the doctor
Well,
on
there's
enough of a regular basis?
There's like 30 people in our family, so
We
at
do.
least
I know
3.
of one at least.
Okay.
Pre-diabetic is pretty much every single one of them, and insulin resistant is every single one of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I put blood sugar monitors on I think 8 of our family members so far, and every single one of them, Dad has chronically high blood sugar, meaning he doesn't go low, he sits high all of the time, which is
like
right seconds before diabetes.
That's creeping up on diabetes.
Yeah.
Diabetes is when you have high blood sugar. You had the opposite where you would just drop your all the sugar out of your blood.
And it's worse, by the way, to have reactive hypoglycemia than it is to have high blood sugar, because with going down and crashing like that is what makes you feel terrible.
Yeah.
So anyways, yeah, it's extremely
And it
common.
can make you faint, and it can
Go
make,
into a coma.
yeah, it can make you white out. It's like you start seeing a lot of white.
Yeah.
I remember you explained this to me when you were experiencing it. But your blood sugar should be doing this.
Yeah.
And so what happens is when you spike your blood sugar is it goes up and it comes down. On a normal person, it'll come back up until you get something like diabetes. But for you, it was going up and then it would drop all the way to the bottom. You would almost pass out. Some people can go into a coma with this thing. It's crazy stuff.
Yeah, no, for sure. So yeah, that was solved pretty much day one. I think I was down to 2 crashes from 10. And at that time, mind you, I was doing keto from a very beginner's standpoint. And so I didn't understand things like you can't have pre-shredded cheese because of the potato starch. So I wasn't like 100% from start. I was having that syrup. Remember, the second ingredient was glycerin.
Yeah.
So I was doing a lot of that, and that's probably why I went from 10 to 2 instead of from 10 to 0 on crashes. So yeah, but I did notice that right from breakfast, I felt better. So I was like, okay, so instead of having oatmeal, having eggs and bacon and cheese, I had no crash, right?
Yeah.
And so this was super, super important. So I spent a lot of time researching, watching documentaries. My favorite one is Fat Fiction. I don't remember. Did I watch that with you? Or
You didn't watch it with me.
Oh, because I was laser focused. You watched it, right?
Yeah.
You had everybody watch it.
That is just like the turning point in my life.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, like in my life, that was the turning point. It was like, hey, how about this? What if everything you've ever been taught on your health and nutrition is a lie?
Yeah.
Like, what? But we're not going to tell you. We're going to show you. We're going to put these blood sugar monitors on people, and we're going to show you, and we're going to go about their diet on a standard American diet and how the way they feel, how the way they sleep, their mood, and we're going to show you that versus a low carb diet. And we're going to show you the differences in these people's lives over like a 7 or 14-day course. And you cannot unsee that. And then when you go put the blood sugar monitor on yourself and you target yourself to have stable blood sugar, you also can't unsee that. Then you know if you go eat a bagel, what's going to happen to your blood sugar.
Yeah.
You know if you go eat a donut, that you have to pay the price for this for potentially the next 3, 4, 5 days. And that's why when people say it's just one bite, it's not though. Like from a blood sugar standpoint, it's not though, because that could potentially ruin the rest of your day, which is why when we go to like Disney and whatever, I don't ever make exceptions, because I know if I'm going to Disney and I'm going to start my day off with a donut and a sugary coffee, that I'm going to want to leave. I'm going to be in a bad mood for the rest of the day. I'm going to be emotional. I'm going to be tired. I'm not going to be able to drink enough caffeine to keep me awake. I'm not going to have the energy and the stamina I need to get through the rest of the day, right? And so this is where the decision changes from, I just want to be skinny, to like, no, this actually doesn't work for my body. My blood sugar says no.
That's right.
Yeah, I have noticed the
no.
only cheating you guys do is sometimes you have more than one meal a day, and that's for like special occasions like birthdays
or the Rebel ice cream. If I will have, like, if I want a keto cheat day, I will have keto treats, right? I will never ever go off, because I know that it is not just that day. This will absolutely affect your blood glucose levels minimally for the next 3 days.
Yeah.
Minimally.
See, and I've lost the weight that I wanted to lose, so I actually keep my weight between 148 and 152.
Yeah.
So I go in this range, and then it's like, okay, I got to 152. I'm going to do OMAD for the next day, and then back down to 150. Today I was at 149, and I actually will control my weight just by having 1 or 2 meals a day, or sometimes even 3. Sometimes I will do that, but we will keep it clean.
Yeah.
I
can control my weight. This is the craziest thing. I can control my weight with my glucose monitor.
Yeah, it's
I
like
can
I'm going to control my
determine.
weight with my mind.
I knew when I had got back, I'm so in tune with my body now that when I got back from Disney, from the lack of sleep and the inflammation, walking around, blah, 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 I knew when I stepped on that scale it was going to be 152 pounds. I knew it.
Yeah.
I was like, I can just feel, according to my blood glucose and the way that I feel, I'm going to have gained X amount of pounds, right? Even though I stayed keto. Like, can you imagine if I wouldn't have? So anyways, getting off.
That's crazy. I can't do that.
I just knew it.
Yeah.
And so like sleeping, getting my sleep back, because that's the most important thing, right?
know.
Getting my sleep back, because we were in the RV and things were just like crazy, going to sleep late, staying at Disney Lane, whatever. I knew that getting my sleep under control, getting my vitamins back in, drinking my water, having my routine back in, I didn't need to do anything. It was just going to come right back off, right?
That's right.
And so just having this like completely different feeling towards this, like, oh my gosh, I gained all this weight and now I'm going to throw it out of it. And like, no, I use the scale now as like a completely like analytical, like sane tool to measure the way that it's all a package.
Yeah.
Your glucose, your sleep, everything is a package, your weight and one thing. And it doesn't have to be this horrible, toxic, emotional, nasty, horrible device, right? If you wake up 10 pounds heavier, that's something you need to know, right? And I've been able to go, I had this, I did this, this effect happened, but it's always a package deal. If my weight is super high the next day, it was because my glucose was elevated the entire time.
Yeah.
And so these are things that you need to be able to connect the dots. And so even though I used to have this goal of getting rid of the scale is so toxic. It's there just to tear your whole life apart and ruin your mood. No, it's actually trying to tell you something. And it is very useful, especially when you connect it. You can't actually, but when you connect it with your CGM, your blood glucose meter, you're able to go, I know exactly what that food is going to do to me.
Mm-hmm.
I know exactly what that food is going to do to me. That's going to cause me inflammation. That's going to cause my joints to hurt. That's going to cause me to feel this way. That's going to cause me to feel tired. And it changes from that's going to make me fat.
Yeah.
Because that's going to make me fat is not enough of a motivation for people to change the way of eating. It has to be bigger than that. That's going to cause me acne. I know now when I eat sugar, my entire chin is going to be covered in acne. I know that because I've done it now where we had barbecue, right? And they put some like on the edge of the meat, some sauce. Well, I had acne for 2 weeks after that every time. So I'm like, okay, so I can't have any sugar or that happens because I had acne for 8 years, the last 8 years.
Crazy. We went to the beach and this is when we stopped eating out and we all got like nachos. We got like a hamburger and we wanted to vomit afterwards. Landed, felt like he wanted to puke. That was
when was this?
This was like about a year and 2 months ago. It was whenever you were still going through all this stuff. Tiffany couldn't drive, by the way. She couldn't drive anywhere.
No.
This is when like you had the stroke-esque symptoms, right?
Yeah, I did. I couldn't comprehend, like, people would talk to me and I didn't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so yeah, we went to the beach, we ate out and we were already just eating at home. We were cooking everything. So it was like still better than eating out. So when we went and ate out and we had like this stuff with like MSG in it, sugar, our bodies hated us. They purely just said, you're done. You can't ever do this again. We decided we were never going to do that again.
And I think about that sometimes and I'm like, can you imagine wearing a CGM at a time, of a glucose monitor at a time when you did something like that? I mean, this guy did this test on Instagram where he drank a Coke, like one Coke, and his blood sugar went up like 120 points. I mean, your blood sugar really should stay a steady number all day. Regardless of what people talk about on the internet, your blood sugar should stay pretty steady the entire day. Yeah. And to have a 120 point spike or, 180, 150 point spike. I had somebody who's had a piece of candy and it's like it went up like 120 points. It's like you cannot unsee that. And then you see the next day, why did you gain weight from one piece of candy if only calories matter? Oh, well, it's just inflammation.
And inflammation
because
comes
your glucose
from sugar.
Causes you to store fat. That's why. If you have high glucose, you store. Your high glucose is fat storage. Low glucose is usually fat burning. And if you have ketones. And
then if you get tendinitis and all these different itises and this inflammation in your body, that's also sugar. It's crazy.
Yeah. So back to this.
So the fat fiction thing.
Yeah. So watch Fat Fiction.
It's free. You can watch it on YouTube. You can watch it on the website.
Until they take it down.
Parker, what was it like when you watched it?
For me, it was basically the biggest thing was it was kind of information I knew, but essentially it so thoroughly debunks the saturated fats thing. That aspect of things, like that saturated fats is that's your heart disease. That's going to be everything that's going to kill you. You're going to have a stroke, a heart attack. And that's the thing that, the reason dad's skin is so red is high fats. And that's kind of been in media since like really the 60s.
Yeah, I was about to say 70 years ago or so.
It started in 1970.
Yeah. Okay. So that's been around, right? Like, don't have mayonnaise. Not that you should have conventional mayonnaise. You should have stuff without sugar in it. But like, your cholesterol and everything like that. And for me, the biggest thing was just like, no, it's the what's the terminology? Processed carbs, refined carbs. I can't remember, but that is the vast majority of what's causing everything.
Yeah.
Not your high saturated fats and everything like that. Not that you should just eat, a big old tub of lard, but, I think it basically gave me a fundamental mind shift. I got a mind shift.
I had a mind shift, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to shift these mind gears.
I do think that was a big part of it, is because for so long I thought I would always see these like super cheesy, meaty things and go, that's going to give you a heart attack. It was just like ingrained. It's like, this is where I get into common sense. Most common sense is actually a lie.
Yeah.
Because these things that are common sense they're not true. And so this whole thing of eating cheese, I mean, I've been on a cheese, butter, and fatty meat diet, no chicken, right, for the last 9 months. And my cholesterol is even better than it was before I started.
Yeah.
And so this is where it gets into, it's just not true. And there are enough doctors now who've basically stepped up to be like, we're debunking this because we've been doing this long enough to know that the people who are getting heart disease and have high cholesterol are people who are morbidly obese and who do have a lot of carbohydrates in their diet. It is these carnivores, right, are not the people with the cholesterol issues. It's the people who are obese and eating a lot of refined carbohydrates and seed oils. And that's the people who are having the problem with cholesterol.
Yeah, and for us, neither one of us could lose weight, and then we started to be able to lose weight again. And you've lost like it's almost 50 pounds now.
Yeah, and I don't want to say effortlessly, but I do want to say effortlessly in comparison, right? Because I've always had to starve myself to lose weight.
Yeah, and you haven't been binge eating.
No, and when I say starve myself to lose weight, I want to clarify.
Yeah,
1,600 calories a day, 1,800 calories a day was starving myself, and I'm going to explain. I was hungry all the time. There was never a time that I was not hungry. I was hungry. All I could think about was food. When I woke up, I wanted food. I wanted a snack right after breakfast. I wanted a snack after lunch. I wanted a snack after dinner. I wanted 4 snacks before bed, right?
Yeah.
I was starving. And this is where it gets into every single time I've tried to lose weight, I've had to be hungry, right? And I saw this TikTok one time. I'll never forget it. The guy goes, you want to know how you're going to lose weight? Feel hungry. You got to feel hungry. And he's like, that's the secret, feel hungry. And now you're losing weight.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that is the craziest thing I've ever freaking heard. You have to be hungry in order to lose weight, right? But it's not true.
Yeah.
Because in order to burn fat, you need to have lower carbohydrates in order for fat burning to kick in. If you're burning fat, you're not going to feel hungry.
Right.
Because you're using stored body fat.
Yeah.
So a lot of the times too, and I learned this recently, that you're not actually hungry. People go, well, you're not hungry, you're just thirsty. No, it's not that either, right? A lot of the times it's a lack of electrolytes, vitamin deficiencies, different things. Water could play a small part in it, but it isn't going to be water before it's going to be like electrolytes, right? Or if your stomach is growling, right? That's a bile issue. So when these people go, I'm starving. Well, are you starving? Because drink a glass of electrolytes. And if you just so happen to not be hungry after that, you're not starving, right? And so this is where it's very different in the terms of, I find it effortless, and the point that I never look forward to a cheat meal. Whereas like beforehand, I would look forward to I'd be like, I'm going to make a list. Whenever I was dieting before, actually, while we were together, I'd be like, I'm going to make a list of everywhere we're going to go the second I'm done with this, right?
No, I remember that.
Yeah, for our date nights, we're going to have pizza, we're going to have ice cream, we're going to have all these things, fried food and whatever. And I was so excited. And I was so excited to have these cheat meals to the point that I'd quit my diet. Because I couldn't stop obsessing about them to the point that I had to have it because life's too short. I got to have it now, right? And so like that stopped. all of that noise of like needing this junk food, I need this, I need this, I need this. Oh my gosh, I can't wait until I can eat that again. Stopped. And that's where this is different for me. So I think that is the part that's been able to turn this into a forever thing, a forever lifestyle for me.
I mean, at this point, we've been able to do it for a year, and we couldn't do anything for longer than like 30 days. You know what I mean?
Yeah, going on a year. Well, it'll be a year in September, but not only that, but like, have you ever thought this entire time, I'm done? Like, I can't do this anymore.
No.
Never.
I will say this has been the easiest maintenance diet I've ever done.
And how much have you lost with keto?
With keto, 27 pounds, 28 pounds.
And how long have you been doing this?
Less than I was vegan. I've been vegan.
No, how long have you been doing this?
Oh, keto?
Yeah.
2.5 months.
Okay. Have you ever done anything for 2.5 months and you didn't want to have a cheat day?
No.
Oh, but you did have a cheat day.
I did have a cheat day.
How did that go?
Horribly.
What happened?
I wake up at 6 every morning normally.
Okay.
And that wasn't like, that's not like, I wake up at 6 every morning, I do 6,000 push-ups. I'm not like Dwayne The Rock Johnson. But,
well, you wake up at 6 a.m.
Well, yeah. So I wake up at 6 a.m. and I think a lot of that is because of the keto, just like energy.
Yeah.
I just started waking up at 6. Like,
same thing for me.
I was just like, oh, hey, I don't need to sleep anymore.
Yeah.
I did my cheat day on a Friday at like a birthday or something. It wasn't a cheat day. It was a cheat meal. It was like the movie theaters or something with like burgers and nachos. I woke up at 11 the next day.
Oh, gosh.
I did not want to wake up. It was that my dogs were whining and wanted to be let out to go to the bathroom. And that's what woke me up. I was essentially unconscious the whole day.
It's like
I wanted to throw up.
It's like a hangover.
Yes. No, that was actually exactly how I described it to my wife. I was like, I feel like I am hung over.
Yeah.
I feel like I've never felt this bad before. And that wasn't even like I went hard. I didn't have like cake and cookies and stuff like that. I had like a burger. It was a cheat meal.
Yeah.
And some popcorn, and that was it.
Yeah, that was the realizations we had when we would eat out.
Let me ask you a question.
And we felt so terrible.
What made you decide to have that meal? Like, what happened before you're in your mindset to go, I'm going to do this tonight?
It was Kendra and I talking and going, we're going to this birthday party. We haven't eaten. This is before I switched to OMAD, one meal a day. And we haven't eaten, blah, blah, blah. And she's going, well, maybe we should look at doing this cheat meal thing. There's science on like the caloric spikes. Or I was saying that like, hey, when you spike the caloric intake, it helps when you hit a stall or something like that.
And I just want to pause for a second and say that you can do that, a calorie surplus, on keto. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. And we were just like, well, we're going to a movie theater. We like popcorn. It was more of just like, we're going to have a good time more than like we plan this, right? And so we go to her friend's birthday party where she rented out the movie theater like you can do with those like dine-in movie theaters where they take your order, bring you food, and you watch the movie. And so, yeah, we were just like, it's going to be a casual thing, blah, blah, blah. And then we did it, and I was like, I immediately regret this decision.
Did you really? Like, you ate it and you regretted it that minute?
Not that minute. No. That night, I was like, I'm fine. I don't really know what the big deal is. And then, like, the next day, I was hungover. The day after that, I went to the bathroom, like, 12 times.
Oh, man.
I was, I've had this, like, I had a medical thing happen to me a few years back where my ileocecal valve, which is the valve that connects your small intestines to your colon, I think, blew up. Not, like, exploded. But it blew up so much so that overnight I grew stretch marks. It was like I had this giant thing. And that was real pain. And I got like my intestines rearranged by a doctor. And then I spent 7 hours in the bathroom. And that's apparently what was wrong. But this was the same amount of pain like the next day. Like I woke up and my ileocecal valve was like, oh my God, this is so much pain. I thought it was like swollen up again. I thought I did something wrong. It wasn't. It was just my intestines were not used to the bacteria. I probably was very gassy, and it was just like not good.
Yeah, no, that's a nightmare. And
That's terrible.
a lot of the girls too in the Clean Keto Fam Facebook group, we can link that here if people want to join it. But in our little community, they talk about their cheat days, and I'm like, this is why I don't recommend doing that. I mean, it is not good. And the thing is that we become used to the fact that we feel this way, right? Like I used to feel that way where I was going to wake up at 11 every day, right? Like I was so tired and never wanted the alarm clock to go off. But you like get used to feeling horrible all the time. Is it true that it's worse when you go from keto off? Yes, it is true. But there is a level of pain that you maintain every single day that you don't even know until you stop doing it.
I know.
And so
and then it's hard to quit when you get on the train. It's hard to get.
So, I'm doing one meal a day, as you guys well know, right? And some days I'm like, you know what? I'm going to have a big old salad. I'm going to have a salad. It's going to be in a bowl about this big. I'm not exaggerating. This is the bowl I use. It's a Tupperware. It's not really a bowl. You couldn't define it as a bowl. But other days I'm going, no. I'm going to cook up some shaved ribeye. I'm going to put some cheese in the shaved ribeye, right? I'm going to get me some keto mayo, some keto ketchup, maybe some onions. I'm going to have myself a bunless Philly cheesesteak. And I'm going to do a massive amount of that, right? Oh, boy. But guess what the problem with that is?
What?
Where are the greens? Johnny, show them where the greens are in that meal.
Oh, snap. Have you ever had a problem where you were doing keto and then you didn't get enough greens?
Yeah.
Vegetables are actually critical.
I literally just said I had that problem.
Have you ever had that problem, Parker?
What do I do, Johnny?
Parker, have you ever had this problem?
I did, just the other day.
So this is what you should do. See, we have this product. It's called Greens Superfood
Oh my God.
Blend.
But what if I'm looking at camera 3?
Oh my God. I forgot about you, camera 3. So you should have some Greens Superfood Blend. It has a perfect blend of a bunch of different vegetables. It feels really good when you take it. It helps you get some extra vegetables. And guess what? When you're doing keto, you got to get some veggies.
You got to get those veggies.
It is
veggies. 66 cents per serving.
Yeah.
Which is cheaper than all of your other servings of vegetables, probably. I haven't actually done the math.
Yeah.
But
I
probably.
would imagine so.
Yeah.
Okay. It comes in what Jonathan is holding, which is the lemon lime flavor.
This is lemon lime. We also have apple banana greens.
Apple banana. We have chocolate.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. I forget about those. I have those every single day with coffee. With our organic coffee, I have some chocolate greens.
It always goes down smooth.
Yeah, that's right.
There's nothing better than a chocolate greens coffee with heavy cream.
No, I do it every day.
Nothing.
I do about 3 of them every single day.
Have you had that, by the way? There's nothing better.
Well, I drink my coffee black, but
this
not
is a
anymore.
Treat. This isn't
anymore.
a way you would like, oh, I'm just going to, whatever. This is a treat.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what I did do is I had me some good old chocolate greens with that Philly cheesesteak as a little remembrance of the 1950s, where you get yourself a Phillies at a nice little milkshake diner.
Yeah.
Right? And then
right.
It's not the same.
And then
it's not the same.
And you top it off with some chocolate something. And
chocolate
for me,
something or
it was veggies.
Bam.
That's right. Have you ever wanted to be able to lose weight?
Yes.
And you haven't been able to lose weight?
I have.
Oh my God.
What do I do?
Me too. Well, guess what? Do we have the product for you?
What is it?
It's called Clean Keto for Beginners.
What?
It's the beginning step of clean keto because you learn to cook delicious meals. We have cheddar biscuits.
Boom.
We have things like desserts
Boom.
in there that are really amazing, and even chickens in it.
Boom.
Mm-hmm.
But Jonathan,
yeah.
I say, I have a question.
Yeah, what is it?
What if I want my keto to be dirty?
It's not for you.
Oh.
Yeah. So we use the cleanest ingredients in all of humankind. All of mankind.
Boom.
We use them. There's only like 10 things that you can actually have on this thing, but you can make like 100 different recipes. They're amazing. And you'll start losing weight. You'll feel better about yourself.
What?
Yeah.
I got to get this. Where do I find it?
Your spouse will be even more in love with you. Your kids.
Jonathan, enough about my spouse. Where do I find it?
Your kids will no longer be a problem anymore.
I'm losing my mind, Johnny.
Just because you bought this book.
Johnny, where's the book?
It's down below. You can click the link in the bio. There's no bio on YouTube. In the description.
Whoa!
Is that?
Oh, thank God.
Yep.
I thought you were going to talk about my kids forever.
Clean Keto for Beginners. Right here.
Woohoo!
Right here for beginners.
I'm a beginner. I'm going to go buy it.
We don't have an advanced one for advanceders. Oh yeah, we went to Mr. and Mr. Crab for my birthday.
Somebody thought this would be a good idea.
Oh yeah, you were like, yeah, let's get all that seafood meat because you're from Louisiana. You want that seafood. You haven't had any in 4 years. And I was like, hell yeah, that sounds like the best idea. We got crawfish, we got crab, we got lobster, we got little shrimps, them little shrimps, so good. And it was caked with like all the seasoning. And then the first ingredient on that was MSG. Guess what? I regretted it immediately. So immediately I felt bad. Felt terrible.
Yeah.
I was like really, really, really bad. And then for 3 days, I was like, everything is the worst. Whenever I have MSG or some bad product, like ingredients or something, I hate the world.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa, I suck at my job. I hate my job. I hate everything. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to get out of the bed. And it's like, it's really insane what this stuff does to me. And that's just meat.
Yeah.
That was just meat. There was no carbs.
We didn't
no
eat
potatoes.
any of the corn or any of the potatoes, just the meat. And this is why we both felt really, really, really terrible to the point that we were like, we will never eat there ever again unless we can get their food with no seasoning. Because, yeah, when we Googled the ingredients of their seasoning, it was just like, nothing is safe. Like, nothing is safe. Michael, we were talking to Michael, and it's like, if you go get a steak, they're going to cook it. It just at a restaurant, you go get a steak, they're going to cook it in vegetable oil, which is extremely highly inflammatory. And so it's one of those things where you feel achiness and joints and pain and blah, 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 water, weight gain, all sorts of things, raises your blood sugar. And you're just like, dude, I just wanted a freaking steak, man.
I know, seriously.
So that's been interesting. You definitely have to cook at home. That's part of this. You have to cook at home and you have to check the ingredients of everything. And you cannot, under any circumstance, fall for packaged food that says keto on it.
Yeah.
Because 9 times out of 10, it is not keto. There's nothing keto about it.
I guess there are no like legal ramifications.
Absolutely
or
not. No. And
'Cause
people,
most of the time they're like sugar is like full on in the thing.
or worse, they put tapioca in everything that's keto, which is worse than sugar again. So it's one of those things that's like, come on, bro. Like, you really didn't need to put that in my keto food. And there are very few things. Like, I know some of the real good foods are actually keto, and they don't have ingredients that you can't have. Real Good Foods is one of them. We found this beef jerky on Amazon that doesn't have, I mean, there are brands that exist, but 9 times out of 10, if it says the word keto, it is not keto.
Yeah.
There's nothing that's keto that's packaged. You want to know what's keto? Meat and cheese, damn it.
There's nothing safe.
Meat and cheese that you make at home.
Yeah.
There's nowhere.
Not pre-shredded. I mean, there's like stipulations on the cheese too.
I don't.
Yeah, there is. You can't get the shredded cheese. You gotta shred it yourself, boy.
Yeah, I never liked shredding my cheese. They cover it in starch when you buy shredded cheese.
Yeah, it's 2 grams of carbs per 1/4 a cup. And I don't know about y'all, but I'll be using 2 cups of cheese for each of my meals.
Yeah, I've always shredded my own cheese even before it was keto, just as like a pride point of my kitchen.
Walmart has giant blocks of cheese.
I love it. I love cheese.
Get the blocks of cheese.
Cheese, the best kind of food.
All right, well, we're almost out of time here, guys. What do you guys want to wrap up with?
So that's just like the basis of the whole beginning, the keto journey, right? Like that's kind of how everything began. Definitely like the focus in the beginning was to get my body used to eating a low amount of carbohydrates. And then obviously at some point I decided I was ready to actually start losing weight. And then that's when I had to tighten up a bit. And that's when I moved to the strict clean keto menu. Did that for a while. And then at some point I had to tighten up a little bit. So I went to the 1 meal a day menu. And then sort of like from the 1 meal a day, I tried to do 1 meal a day most of the time to lower my insulin. I'll move to a standard of 2 meals a day once I'm completely done losing weight. I have just a couple more pounds I want to burn. But yeah, that's sort of where I bounce back between the clean keto for beginners, the strict clean keto menu, and then OMAD. So that's just been sort of my clean keto journey.
Yeah.
And you know, when I do have cheats, you know, I get my Rebel ice cream sandwiches that I freaking love. I love them just the way that I loved regular ice cream sandwiches. I found a way to have something to eat each time we go out to eat. I figured, you know, things out that I can have. Try to avoid seed oils like the plague.
Yeah.
Like seed oils are equivalently as bad as carbohydrates. And that's just sort of the foundation of my keto lifestyle. Again, understanding this isn't keto a fad. This is keto as far as like a body process, not a diet, a body process that you're surviving off ketones. Because I've had this argument with people, but ketones are the preferred source of fuel for the brain, meaning, yes, they will grab glucose because it's an easier fuel for them. But ketones are the superior fuel for them, for your brain.
Yep.
Yeah. And so this isn't about keto, the diet, right? This is about ketosis and a state of the human body that nothing else out there. I mean, there's no way to get into ketosis outside of cutting carbohydrates and intermittent fasting.
Yeah.
There's just no way to do it. If there was, I would be recommending that method.
Yeah.
But even paleo, which is the closest thing to it, you're not going to get into ketosis. You're not going to have that proper brain fuel. You're not going to be keeping your insulin as low as it needs to be. And for some you can, but for most who've gone too far off the end, it's just, there is no other solution than a ketogenic diet for all these situations. So that's really just what I wanted to close off with.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining us here.
Thank
today.
you for having us.
Yeah. Thank you.
Get out
for
of my
having
house.
us in our own house.
Yeah, get out of my house.
Get out of the house.
I live here now. I won the baby game, and I was promised the deed to this house.
Yep.
And I didn't get it.
You're right. Well, I have it locked up, so you can't find it.
Amen.
Amen.
Well, I have never.
Well, you know what? We've also helped a lot of people with this thing. That is something we haven't.
We reached 11,000 members today in our Facebook group, and I'm really proud of that because the focus is not even like in weight loss. There's always a health connection to it, right? Like I don't see all the time just like the number on the scale, the number on the scale, the number on the scale. I'm like, we're no. We're really committed here. We want to talk about brain activity. We want to talk about acne, psoriasis. Yeah. We want to talk about all these like serious health things that go along with weight. And I'm so proud of this group. I want to tell you, I'm so proud of them.
Yeah.
They make me so proud when I go in there and I see them answering each other's questions. I'm like, dude, yes, you're changing the world. Like that comment that you just left, you're changing the world.
Say that in the camera too. Say, I'm so proud of you. Camera
the one that says
camera
two on
one.
it.
Or camera one or two.
I can't really reach camera two.
No, read camera one.
Camera one.
Yeah.
I am so proud of you.
Say it
into the mic.
Camera one, I am so proud of you.
Yeah.
Camera one is the viewers.
Yep.
Viewers, I am so proud of you. If you're watching this and you're here to improve your life and improve the health and well-being of others around you, I am so proud of you.
Wink. Ding.
Ding.
Brought to you by.
Seriously, that's
Yeah.
one more thing I want to add.
Yeah.
The impact that one person makes on the person next to them. It is a chain reaction. It is like dominoes because you inspire people to do better and to be healthier just by getting yourself better.
That's right.
It is incredible.
That's what happened to me, and then it happened to you, and then you're like, okay, well, now I need to change my entire family, and I need to change thousands of people's lives. And I was like,
I did.
what?
I have
What is this?
there's only 2 family members, a couple left in my entire family that I have not converted because and they don't even do like cheat days. They do it as a lifestyle. Not to say that like dad's not perfect, but they do it as a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Like I really, and all of their lives are better for it.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, we want like a healthy world. We want people that are healthy because when you're healthy, you can actually do something for yourself and your society.
Yeah. It's amazing. I
It
love
is.
it. I love it.
Love it.